top battles going on with the Jaguars roster right now. Let's get it. So before I get into this video, huge shout out to this video sponsor, Underdog Fantasy. Guys, if you guys are wanting to get into a fantasy league, I did open up one more league for you guys. Download Underdog, use my promo code UCFJAG to double your first deposit, and then hit the link down below to join my league. I have like 7 spots left, so this is going to be your last chance to get in on a best ball league. And also, guys, higher lowers are out for the Jags' first game against the Colts. They have a higher lower for both Trevor Lawrence and Calvin Ridley. So you guys can check that out, as well as different season higher lowers as well. Remember, we have 2 weeks till the season begins. So all of those higher lowers for season-long stuff does end then. So definitely, if you guys are interested, go over there, check it out, and have some fun. Now, this video is going to be kind of a roster battle slash like 53-man roster prediction in a way. Look, I'm honestly not going to have time after the Jags game to be able to do a full 53-man roster prediction because I am pretty busy Sunday, and then the roster is going to come out pretty quickly. So I won't be able to do that. But I do want to kind of highlight some different stuff going on, some guys you should look out for, before the roster is really finalized. So one of the big and most intriguing position battles is that wide receiver 6 spot. Look, we have seemingly 5 guys probably locked into this roster, that being Calvin Ridley, Christian Kirk, Zay Jones, Jamal Agnew, and Parker Washington. And then the last spot seems to be a lot of competition. Now, some guys I don't see making the roster are Kevin Austin Jr. The guy just can't catch. And look, he had a lot of hype coming in, and I don't think he's close to lived up to it. There's Kendrick Pryor, who spent the whole year on the Jaguars roster last year. I just haven't seen enough from him to be able to command a roster spot this year. There's Seth Williams, Joe Ray Jenkins, and lastly, Oliver Martin. I don't think any of those guys make the roster. So that leaves 3 players. That's Elijah Cooks, Tim Jones, and Jacob Harris, who that last spot really could go to. Now, each of them have their own really pros. But I really think it's all going to come down to special teams. Look, if you look around, Elijah Cooks was actually the highest graded wide receiver so far this preseason. That's not just on the Jaguars. That's a whole entire NFL in general, which is pretty wild. Look, Tim Jones came in with the spot kind of being his, and I'm not sure if he's really played his way out of it. He's a reliable player. He can block very well, very good special teamer. So there's that one. But if you look at it, Jacob Harris is faster than some of those guys. He's a really polished wide receiver, and he's also pretty good at special teams. But what he has is very, very big height and weight. Look, he's 6'5". He runs a 4.3 speed. And also, I think if the Jaguars are in a pinch, if maybe a tight end or 2 are nicked up, he can even go in there and kind of help when the Jaguars are in that like 13 personnel. So these are stuff to look at. I lean toward probably Tim Jones making the roster because I think the Jaguars coaching staff likes familiarity. If you look at it, Trey Hearn is going to be your week 1 starter because I think they know what they're going to get out of him. And, I see Tim Jones as another guy that they know what they're getting out of him. And, they can play in a pinch. Tim Jones got some playing time last year, but I think it's really intriguing because you got to think Elijah Cooks probably gets picked up if you try to hide him on a practice squad. We'll see with Jacob Harris. I don't know, but at the end of the day, the Jaguars will be cutting a guy with a lot of talent at wide receiver. So it's just something that we kind of got to brace for. Now, I'm not going to touch on offensive line. We're very injured there, so maybe some players go to IR. You got to think Josh Wells would go to IR. Also, Cam Robinson's going to be suspended, so that's going to open up a roster spot. So I'm not really super sure, really in that respect, if anybody is going to what's going to happen there. Are they going to go out and try to find offensive linemen? I don't know. So, and also I haven't been paying too much attention to offensive line very closely. Maybe they go out and try to get somebody on the waiver wires. Who knows? So I'm not going to really touch on that too much. Now, tight end, very, very straightforward. Ingram, Strange, Luke Farrell, Garrett Prince. I think all those guys play their way into the roster. And speaking of Brenton Strange, like I said, Elijah Cook's the highest graded wide receiver. Brenton Strange has been the highest graded tight end. I mean, this dude's been mauling people in the run game, and he's also been able to catch some balls. So that's good to see. The thing that's tough is, look, Josh Peterson probably won't make the team, and Doug Peterson has to somehow cut his son, which I can't imagine would be very easy, but maybe kind of going in, they know, like, yeah, you're a good chance you won't make the roster. We'll get you some tape. Maybe another team will sign you on. So I think quarterback, I think, look, at the end of the day, we can sit here and argue, should Beathard be QB2? Should Nathan Rourke? Coach Peterson put it to bed. CJ Beathard's quarterback too, so he's on the roster. The big question is Nathan Rourke versus himself. Do the Jaguars keep 3 quarterbacks? If so, then Nathan Rourke will be on the roster. I think they keep 2. They tried to stash Nathan Rourke on a practice squad and see what happens, but I think it's going to be a 2 quarterback team. That's just my gut. Now, running back, there's clear division here. I mean, look, ETN, Bigsby, Hasty, Dearness Johnson, those 4 guys on the roster. Snoop Connor's going to be out, and I think that's one's pretty straightforward. Now, similar to offensive line, defensive line is also pretty tough. This Hamilton start the year on the IR. He's apparently in crutches. He has some like back issues or something like that going on. Just kind of came out of nowhere. Made the trip to Detroit and left in crutches. I don't know. I don't know what happened. And hopefully he has some like kidney stones and he passes them and he's good to go. I don't know what happened to him, but it's very, very strange. So there's that. Fully Fatukasi is a little bit banged up. Yeah, we have some injuries there, and that's another one where we had to get some clarity. But yeah, I don't know. There's too many, battles here. I think that one will be straightforward. Now, edge, Josh Allen, Trayvon Walker on the roster. Now, there seems to be a 3-way battle, and 2 guys will make the roster between Yasir Abdullah, Jordan Smith, and Chason. For me, I'm saying bye to Chason. Just look, if it's me talking to my buddies, I'm just going to say that this guy sucks. If it's me trying to be on YouTube and give him some good commentary or good analysis, it's just we've had him for 3 years. He's had 1 sack in each season. In the preseason, he's very frustrating because he's there to make a play and just never makes a play. It's so similar to Taven Bryan. It's like these guys, they get around the ball, they're there, but they don't do anything there. And if you're not, what's the point of being out there? Is if you're right there, you could make a play, but someone else just comes in and makes it for you. I just haven't seen enough. And look, Yasir Abdullah has flashed, Jordan Smith has flashed. There seems to be a whole lot more upside there. And I think it's time to say, bye to Chason or really close the book on that whole Dave Caldwell era on that one. Now, linebackers, Aluakin, Lloyd, Muma, those guys are locks. There's a 3-way battle, probably 2 spots open between Ventrell Miller, Caleb Johnson, Shaquille Quarterman. I think Ventrell Miller's on the roster. I mean, Ventrell Miller's, he's had a pretty good preseason and stuff. And then also they just gave a 4th-round pick to him. So typically you keep those guys around. Caleb Johnson has been pretty good in preseason too. And he's also a good special teamer. So he has a good shot of making it. And also Shaq, I feel, Shaquille Quarterman had a pretty bad game in week 1. And this is one of those things where people were hyping him up saying, oh yeah, this guy's put on a lot of muscle. He looks good. But, with Shaquille Quarterman, he's always lacked speed. And you would think with him, like being big, strong, last year he didn't lack of, bigness and toughness to where he could hit Derrick Henry and make him fumble. I would think that he'd be a guy that maybe wants to get lighter so he gets faster. Because he seems to have been a guy that got bigger and maybe lost a touch of speed. So it'll suck if he gets cut, but we'll see on that one. Now, lastly is cornerback and safeties. I don't think there's too much real competition here. I mean, I think with this one, it's more special teams competition. You might keep 5 safeties, 6 corner, like it's going to kind of, the number's going to go up and down based on who they think can really contribute to special teams. But I don't think there'll be too many surprise cuts, on that one. So really, when you look at it, I think the biggest competitions here are wide receiver 6 spot and who makes that final edge rusher spot. And look, that's a good situation to be in because we've in the past, this has been a very exciting moment. We do 53-man roster predictions, and like we have like starting positions up for grabs. Not this year. We're supposed to be Super Bowl contenders. A lot of these guys, into the roster guys that we're going to sit here and bicker and argue about. End of the day, they're not really going to make any true impact on, the Jags. It's just how it goes. I mean, last year we argued all about the 6 wide receiver spot. Tim Jones wound up making a roster, got to play like a game or two, and, that was that. So yeah, those are kind of my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think, and go Jags.